Hey, welcome back. What's my picture like? Yeah, I'm looking good. I'm looking great. Welcome back. Prep test 5, game 4. I confess, this one I looked over just for a second because it's been a long time since I've done one of these LSAT games. So I really didn't remember what the rest of the section looked like. I remembered that the games were kind of weird. Like this first one is a weird order game where several elements could fit in certain spots because it wasn't just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was A, B, C, D, and then this weird failing grade for E. Again, this wasn't even an order game. We just used what looks like an order diagram, this second one. I'll put the links for all these games in the description if you want to click back and see any of them. And then we had an in and out game, a genuine in and out game. I think it was the first one we've done. So yeah, I would rate this section as moderately difficult so far, just because the games are kind of weird. And again, I have actually looked ahead, and I know that this fourth game, it is the hardest game in the section, at least just looking at it already. I know the diagram's going to be super weird. It looks almost like a three-dimensional order game, but that's not quite right. Normally, when we talk about dimensionality, like two-dimensional game, three-dimensional game, we mean there's a particular element and it has several attributes that we keep track of at once. And that's not what's happening here. Instead, we have 3 different rankings going on at the same time. Let's get into it to see what's going on. A committee ranks 5 towns, Palmdale, Quietville, Riverdale, Seaside, Tidetown, from first, best, to fifth, worst, on each of 3 criteria: climate, location, friendliness. For each of the 3 criteria, none of the 5 towns receives the same ranking as any other town does. So that establishes this is a 1-to-1 order game. But again, there are actually 3 different areas that we're keeping track of the order in. We've got climate, location, and friendliness. I think probably the best way to set this up will be, first of all, to jot down our elements P, Q, R, S, and T. Whoops. Not doing math today, I promise. But then I think what I'm going to do is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, unsurprisingly. So that part you probably anticipated. But then I'm going to keep track almost in like a grid. Climate, what were they? Climate, location, and friendliness. Climate, location, friendliness. And so each time, maybe, that I do one of these questions, I might be keeping track in this kind of 3x5 grid area. And I'm going to have to do individual rankings for each one of these areas. So that's what's making me think this is going to be a relatively difficult game. But I could be wrong. Maybe it'll end up being easy. Let's jump into the clues and find out. Again, the first clue just establishes this is a 1-to-1 game. Nobody's tying in these areas. Yeah, for each of the 3 criteria, none of the 5 towns receives the same ranking as any other town. So like Palmdale can't be first and Quietville can't be first at the same time for some given category. They could be first, at least it seems like it so far, in different categories. Now this is nice. Maybe the game's not going to be so bad. In climate, Tidetown is ranked 3rd and Seaside is 4th. So we can just put that right on our diagram. In climate, Tidetown is ranked 3rd and Seaside is ranked 4th. So that just goes right onto our permanent grid. We know that every single time. T is 3rd, S is 4th. Yeah, we got that. In location, Quietville is ranked 2nd, Riverdale 3rd, Palmdale 4th. Okay, so this isn't so bad. We're getting quite a bit of information here. You know, sometimes I like to say that these logic puzzles are like Sudoku puzzles, but on steroids. But this one's actually looking quite a bit like a Sudoku puzzle where we have several givens and we're just going to figure out what the other elements have to be for any given ranking. So location, Q is 2, Q, R, P. Location, Q, R, P. In friendliness, Tidetown's ranking is better than Palmdale's. So for F only, Tidetown ranks ahead of Palmdale. In friendliness, T is better than P. Q is 4th. So we can put that right on the diagram. Q is 4th and Seaside is 5th. So there's definitely some deductions here with the T ... P, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Riverdale receives a better ranking in climate than in friendliness. Ooh. So Riverdale's climate ranking, here's how I'm going to symbolize this. Riverdale's climate ranking is better than Riverdale's friendliness ranking. So that one's almost going to be vertical. In fact, I might even want to set that up vertically just so I remember. I mean, not really actually, but I do just want to keep in mind this is going to tell me more about what's going on up and down on the grid than left to right necessarily. And finally, Quietville's 3 rankings, I think that's probably a typo, are all different from each other. So basically QC, QL, and QF can't be the same. You know, we could also say like do not equal each other. But as I've said before, typically mathematical symbols are actually not all that helpful on these games. So I usually try to stay away from them. All right, deduction time. Yeah, let's start right there. For friendliness, T has to come before P. So pretty straightforward. P can't be in this slot. T can't be in slot 3, but it could be some version of, what town am I missing? QSR, right? Could be TRP, TPR, RTP. I think those are the only 3 possibilities there. It seems like it would almost be worth jotting all 3 of those down, but I think I'm just going to stick with the deductions. R's ranking in climate, which could be any of first, second, or... Oh, okay. So R seems like could be here, here, or here. But again, actually what it says is R's ranking in climate has to be better than its ranking in friendliness. And of course, the lowest possible ranking it would get in friendliness would be 3rd. So in fact, R cannot go here. So right away, that's a coin flip. That's either going to be Palmdale or Quietville for sure. QC never has the same ranking. Well, we know Q's ranking in L and F, and so Q can't be 2nd up here, and Q can't be 4th, but of course we know that. That almost gives us another kind of coin flip. Obviously, what's happening in climate is Q is either 1st or it's 5th. And again, we know it's ranking elsewhere. All right, so not so bad. Weird diagram. We don't get a lot of these grid diagrams nowadays. I never know how much this stuff is because I'm doing super old tests. And so the LSAT or LSAC has just moved away from this style of game. Either way, it's not a particularly common format that we would have a grid like this set up. But in this case, it seems to be going all right. Which of the following is a complete and accurate list of the rankings, any one of which could be the ranking on climate given to Riverdale? Well, 1st and 2nd, right? We said Riverdale can't go 5th. Riverdale is 3rd for whatever L was, location. And the latest ranking Riverdale could have in friendliness, we've already said is 3rd. And so that's why we said, okay, it's either 1st or 2nd for climate. But I'm pretty sure it can be 1st or 2nd. Now, this might be the kind of question I want to come back to just to double check at the end. Did it ever end up being 1st or 2nd? Because maybe there's something weird going on I'm not anticipating with the ranking down here where R actually can't end up 3rd. And that would obviously affect it. But right now, I'm reasonably sure that's just 1st and 2nd. So we're going to move on. Do we have some specific questions? Yeah, let's jump down to 21. If Quietville is ranked 1st in climate, then it must be true that blank. Again, this is where it's going to get hard. We're going to keep track of all these grids at once. Q, R, P, Q, S, T, S. I think that's everything, right? If Quietville is ranked 1st in climate, so that would be up here, if I want to remember, C, L, F, right there. Again, that 5th slot always has to be P or Q. That was our coin flip, and so that has to be P, which means slot 2 on climate has to be R. I could still do any of those 3 combos TRP for 1, 2, 3 on friendliness. And of course, we have our coin flip T and S, either 1st or last. But really, I mean, that should have been a deduction, right? That's always true because we just don't happen to know about those 2. So I think I'm going to go into the answers now. What do they want to know? Which of the following must be true? Palmdale's ranked 2nd on climate. That's impossible. Palmdale is ranked 3rd in friendliness. That's possible, but I don't see why that would be a must be true. Riverdale is ranked 2nd in friendliness. Again, that's possible, but I don't see why that would be a must be true. Riverdale is ranked 3rd in friendliness. Possible. Oh, wait. RC has to be before RF. Oh, okay. So because Riverdale is 2nd on climate, and this clue down here says Riverdale's ranking has to go in climate, has to go before its ranking in friendliness. We can actually say right now for sure R is going to end up 3rd on friendliness, which would give us a PT coin flip in the other 2 places. Oh, but no, it wouldn't. Never mind, because T always comes before P, right? So actually we can figure out for sure it goes T and then P. Really what matters, though, is the must be true says Riverdale is ranked 3rd in friendliness. Yes, D is the best choice there. Awesome. Number 22, if Palmdale is ranked 2nd in climate, which of the following can be true? Palmdale 2nd in climate. All right, so again, part of what's going to be difficult about this game is just making sure we have enough room for everything that's going on. So Palmdale would go there. What can be true? Well, again, we've got that coin flip P or Q in slot 5, so that's going to have to be Q. R is going to have to go first there. But that means that RF, this RC-RF clue doesn't help us as much. R could be either second or third, which I guess is technically always true. Oh, now that's interesting. R's ranking on climate is always before R's ranking on friendliness. This actually goes back to a deduction. That means that R can never be first on friendliness, because then it couldn't have a higher ranking for climate. And so in fact, that means it has to be T first every time there. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. And then obviously that means it's P. That's flipping between those two remaining slots. And again, at this point, I think it's going to be TS or ST. I don't see any reason to prefer one over the other. 22, what can be true? P is second in friendliness. Oh, goodness. I think that's the answer. I never like it on a can be true when A works out, so I may do something I typically recommend you don't and just quickly check the others. Q is ranked first on climate. That's impossible. Riverdale's ranked first in friendliness. No, it's not. Riverdale's ranked fifth in climate. That's actually never possible. Tidetown is ranked third in friendliness. No, it's not. It's first. Okay, good. So yeah, we actually are able to cross off these other four choices. 23, if Tidetown is ranked first in location and Riverdale is ranked second in friendliness, then it is possible to deduce with certainty all rankings for exactly how many of the towns. So basically, we're just counting which of the towns do we know for sure in each of the three areas. So, oh man, we are really running out of room here at the end. Let's split this up. Now, what they have additionally given us here is if Tidetown is first in location and Riverdale is second in friendliness, what else do we know? Well, we know Riverdale's climate ranking is higher than its friendliness, so Riverdale goes there. Obviously, the only thing S can be for location is fifth. TRPQS, it looks like the only coin flip we have. Oh, we don't have a coin flip. P and then Q, right? Because Q can never be second on climate. So that means everything is figured out completely. So that means we can figure out all 5 towns. Pretty good. So that takes care of our specific questions. We just have 3 general questions left. Number 19, which of the following is a town that cannot be ranked 5th in any of the 3 criteria? Well, I think the answer is going to be R. R can't be 5th on climate. And we already know it's 3rd on location, and it can't be ranked 5th on friendliness because S is ranked 5th on friendliness. What is with the people in Psalmdale? What is it called? Seaside. Just not as friendly, I guess. Yeah, so that's going to be C. 20, which of the following could be true? Man, okay. Palmdale is ranked first in climate and friendliness. Have we ever seen that? No, because Palmdale can never be first on friendliness, so that's no good. Quietville is ranked second in both climate and location. Quietville can't have the same ranking in any particular categories, so no. Riverdale is ranked first in climate and 3rd in both location and friendliness. Now that seems like a possibility. Riverdale first in climate and then 3rd in both location and friendliness. I mean, that was a possibility on 22. So I think that's going to be C. And again, I might be tempted to keep checking, but it's the end of the section. We're trying to get the last question knocked out. I think we need to move on. Which of the following, number 24, which of the following statements cannot be true? Palmdale is ranked first in climate. I think that's possible. I haven't seen it, but it definitely wasn't a deduction up here. So I guess maybe I won't eliminate it, but I don't love it. Quietville is ranked 5th in climate. That's definitely possible, so I can cross off B. Riverdale is ranked 3rd in friendliness. That's definitely possible. We've seen that before. Seaside is ranked 1st in location. That is definitely possible. We've never specifically seen it, but we have several coin flips. Tidetown is ranked 2nd in friendliness. No, that's not possible, because we figured out Tidetown has to be 1st in friendliness. So actually it turns out A was possible, and therefore it must be E. Presuming we got these right anyway, let's see, what do we got? B, C, C, D, A, E, E. So we're emailing someone, da-E, B, C, C, D, A, E, E. B, C, C, D-A-E-E, like a dolphin. We got them all right. Excellent. Pretty good. Weird section. Tougher than average section. But as I've talked about before, that is to your advantage. You are a person watching YouTube videos about LSAT logic puzzles, to say nothing of the fact that they're logic puzzles from 30 years ago. And so you are preparing more than the average person, which means that it is to your advantage that the test absolutely be as hard as possible. I know that sounds weird and maybe not particularly friendly. I'm a seasider, what can I say? But that's, that's the game. I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm moving on to prep test 6. It is always my goal to do these a little bit more quickly, 2 or 3 a week. We'll see. If there's a game you'd like me to move up in the order, comment down below. Let me know what I can do to help you out, and I will see y'all later.